evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Rimworld Blues, starring Jeff the Vampire. Now, as we left off previously, Jeff just implied after recovering from surgery, and is now trying to survive all on his own, with nothing but his wits, senses, and his vampirism. So, let's look back into and see what Jeff has been up to since we last been on. As you may see, Jeff has recently upgraded his living conditions. He no longer lives on the cold ground outside. He instead has a little cave with a coffin for him to retire to during the daytime hours. Now, during this time, Jeff got attacked by two different people, one of which you can still see lying on the ground. A robo from a Blue Sound Coalition. A 12-year-old, hang on. A friendly AI from our past named Droidxnd sent us a message. He reveals there's a starship hidden on this planet and sends you to its world coordinates. The starship is currently in deep hibernation mode, so you have to start it up when you arrive, and then the raiders try to steal it until the startup sequence completes. If you can get the ship off the ground, Charlton will take it off his Rimworld to the stars. Now, this is the major win condition for Rimworld. Get your colony to the ship at a designated location, defend it for a number of days until you can get yourself off planet. Now then, let's go take a look to where this might be. One look at the map, you can see where the ship is quite a fair distance away from where we are. Now then, we are currently up here. There it is, there's our colony. Our ship is basically on the other side of the globe. If you were to track to see how long this will take to walk from our base location to the crash ship, it would take us around 33.7 days, so a quarter of a year for Rimworld. Now, during that time, that does not include travelling in different conditions, sleep, and how much food we may or may not pick up en route. So the travel distance time will vary. Because it's such a long trek for Jeff, it might be worth just building up a colony first, getting a few people to travel with before setting off into wild blue yonder. Now, let's just go back into our little colony and resume the game. Now, we do have some traders with us, who are the Elder Things. Unfortunately, because they're outside in daylight, we cannot actually access them without poor Jeff succumbing to the sunlight. So now we'll just wait until nighttime before Jeff can continue his work. Let's speed things up, shall we? It appears these other things were pleasant with visit with us, and left us some titanium behind. Once again, this is something to collect after it becomes nighttime. Surprisingly, it appears Jeff has come down with some sort of disease. Sensory mechanites. Which doesn't really do much to Jeff, considering he's dead and he can't get disease. Oh, looks like we've got another trader pack coming in from the Wild Pack. Looks like we're a bulk goods trader, and we'll happily trade a lot of things. Once again, oh! It appears as the wild pack enters, a heat wave lashes over the area, and thus leave quickly to ensure they don't. Oh, no, it's still sticking around. Looks like it's still sticking around for us. Usually, when a disaster hits like this, most traders tend to leave very quickly. As you may see, the outside temperatures hit 51 degrees. Jeff doesn't like that sort of temperature. It's a bit too warm for him. Let's see. Oh. And as Jeff continues working on his wall, some cargo parts crash down near him, all containing camel hair. Interestingly, camel hair produces very good clothing that it insulates. If we can somehow get ourselves a tailor bench, we might be able to have a hand at some really nice comfy clothing for Jeff. But until then, we must wait. And let Jeff finish making his little cave a little bit nicer. It appears the wild pack has left due to dangerous temperatures. Oh, don't mind the bugs here. It appears that one of the traders may have collapsed, as causing quite a bit of an issue. I'll just turn this off. There we go. Good as new. Looks like a transport crash has landed by, containing someone in it. Grump the Builder. Appears to be a space refugee. I'm not sure he and Jeff can get along very well. He is steadfast, so he won't break as much. However, he's got an interesting interest in taking drugs, and is horrifically ugly. Now, it would be quite nice to have such a person around for manual labour during daylight hours. However, this means we gotta make ourselves room in our cave or hospital, and we just don't have the capacity yet to do so. I don't think it looks like poor Grump may be left standing there, unless we convert him. Vampires have the ability to create ghouls. Now, ghouls are basically half vampires. They can use vampire abilities just like vampire abilities using Vitae, but they can't generate Vitae themselves and must get it from their vampire masters. Due to what potential we can get from Grump here, let's make him one of our own, or one of Jeff's own. After all, we do want to have a working colony after all, and for that we need manpower. Now then, as he's now become a ghoul, Grump will have a lot more. He's now become bonded to Jeff. And now you can see a balance of Vitae and blood. And because we gave him some Vitae, let's just take some blood back, just to have a nice balance. After all, gotta make sure our vampire has plenty of blood around him. But in return, let's give him some Vitae. There we go. Now then, Jeff will need to continue building his wall. Also appears that there's some stragglers left over from that caravan before. Let's leave him to it, shall we? What we'll do, we shall expand our wall of other caverns to allow for such company to join us later on in the game. And if you're just joining us in the chat, please feel free to leave a message and I will respond to you about Rimworld, the story, or if you've got any suggestions for what you want the colony to be called, and the faction we will be playing as. Now it looks like we've been heard about an item stash somewhere nearby. Unfortunately, as we're low on manpower and weaponry, it will be ill-advised to go looking for it, as other factions will be wanting to take this for themselves. Looks like another bulk good trader has just arrived from the seaside town. Once again, as we don't have much to trade, there's little to no point for them arriving. So what we could do is force poor Jeff here to work during these hours. After all, he seems happy enough to be awake for a while, so why stop him? As Jeff starts building his next room, we do get raided. What looks like a pilot armed with a steel knife, who is gifted a magic elixir fix. Perfect for our colony. Unfortunately, that does mean we're going to have to take him out before we can let him in our colony. And as poor Jeff can't go out in the sunlight, we have to wait for him to arrive. And as he comes under the shelter, we make our move. And so do other traders. Who knew attacking a group of traders is not a wise idea? Oh, so he's down for 6 hours. Perhaps we can use this time to keep mining limestone until we have enough to make a little room. With a small hole complete, let us add a door so we can start capturing this bowman before he dies off, of course. And now, place down our sleeping spot and mark it for prisoners. And let's capture this bowman pilot. And tend to his wounds. Now then, as he is our prisoner, we should probably work to make him more willing to join our colony. Looks like Jeff's a bit too tired to continue working. Let's fix that first, shall we? Apparently entering a coffin wouldn't make a game over. Well, as Jeff is still alive, let's not do that. And for now, let him feed his needs and collect camel hair. We'll need it for when we start making clothing. With that, appears Bowman's got an infection. It might be wise if we turn him into a ghoul. Now we just keep making some food just for poor old Bowman here. Let's look at his health. It appears that Bowman may not survive being captured in a heat wave. But, as is life, we just have to let him go. Now, during this time, I need to go find some more steel, so that we can start making some clothing for poor Jeff here. With that, we find a nice little compact steel mining section here. With that, we'll force Jeff to mine all the steel for our future projects. However, as it gets closer to daylight, we must retreat for a day. We'll have Jeff to look after Bowman to make sure he's not going to die anytime soon. Because you don't know, he might be able to beat this infection. Especially being a ghoul. And we could also do to speed it up, harvest some heal wood for him. By harvesting heal wood, we have some sort of medicine which we could use for human slaves for Jeff. As we can do that well for our pilot here, let us return back to mining steel, ready to make some clothing. Alright, that's steel collected. Let us haul it all back to base. And there it is. Pilot has succumbed to the illness, and it was no longer with us. Let's just give him a proper burial. Or not, as the sun has just come out. We'll have Jeff sleep next to a corpse of his first prisoner before we set him outside. Doing this, we've got to make sure that Jeff's fighter doesn't get too high. However, we could take a little sip out of this fresh corpse here. It appears a corpse we drained the corpse out of all its blood. And he didn't survive, but hey. Jeff will continue to feast on animal blood until he has more vitamin he needs. Now then, what I shall do is tell Jeff to make a steel hand tailor bench, just so we got some clothes in production for him. Anyone who may come by. And let's make something good for dealing with the heat. But a nice jacket. I think a jacket might do more harm than good. Tribal wear. That'll do. Quick and easy to make. And we'll have to... Oh. And as we set up the steel bench, tailor bench, it appears that the heat wave has finally come to an end. So we don't need to worry too much about any more heat from now on. We ran out of graves. Let's just change that. And get more graves out for those who've died near us. Whilst Jeff continues sowing his rice fields, let's make some tribal wear. And move the rice inside just to safety. And with that, we've got some nice clothes that people can wear. Let's put some good clothing on Jeff. And let him rest for the night. Now with camel hair clothing, you can see his temperature range, the comfort range has now dramatically increased. Would have been handy for the heat wave, but well, what can you do? No one can plan the weather these days, can they? Now Jeff will continue his mining as we start playing out our next move for a little vampire. Now the flash storm for last night did set some foliage on fire, but due to the lack of greenery nearby, it shouldn't spread too far. I'll let Jeff continue his recreational needs before we go back to building the next prison chamber. It appears Jeff actually needs to go get some more blood. It appears a wanderer has decided to join Jeff and his little colony. And here we go. We now have been here for a while, and we get to make a choice of what we're going to call ourselves. Now then, I shall look in the chat room and look upon the community to see what we're going to use. It appears that the community wishes the faction to be called the Jeff Expedition. So we shall go with that. And because this is where Jeff landed, we'll call it the crash site. Or crash city. Now then, we believe got a new wanderer joining our village. Let's have a see what he is. Rachel the scientist. Coming in nothing but a simple t-shirt and a cowboy hat. They are also beautiful and a careful shot. They appear to specialise in being a scientist, mining and construction. This will be very useful for us if we start working towards the higher tiers of technology, and it's also a very welcome addition to the colony. The problem is, we don't have anywhere for her to sleep yet. However, we will do soon once we have this new section of the cave hollowed out. One thing I haven't failed to notice is that now we've got an actual human living with us, we need to make sure they are fed. Best way to do that is have a campfire. That campfire, we can make some food. Make some simple food. As long as we got 10, let's say we just need about 5. As I forget, Jeff doesn't need to eat, but Rachel will. And we can have Jeff handle the cooking for now. It appears on digging out our new quarters, we have struck some compact machinery. This will come in handy when we start making our more technological buildings. However, we do need to be careful of Rachel because she doesn't seem to be happy living in a cave for now. But she'll come round. Well, Jeff hopes anyway. Now as Jeff handles a night shift, Rachel handles a day shift. And what other team they can be? As Jeff sleeps through the day to avoid sunlight, Rachel can finish off construction of the new room. As we now have somebody who can operate in daytime hours, we have a lot more capacity of what we can do for the colony. We don't have much wildlife. But however, luckily, Jeff can fix that. Being someone attuned to the animal natures being a vampire himself, he can call upon a pack of wild animals to come to the colony. I think when Jeff wakes up, he might need a few more friends. So we should wait until nightfall before we do this. It appears Rachel has found a smoke leaf. It will help calm her nerves and make her feel more welcome at the colony. But once again, like most drugs, it is addictive. And as you can see right now, she is now stoned on smoke leaf. While we don't support taking drugs in real life. Here out in the rim, it's needed. I'd either make you feel better, or just to get you through the day, or just to make you a lot more tougher and more crazy. In this case, a bit of drugs won't harm people. However, let's just make it one a day. And we should readjust our policy. Now I do apologize because I haven't been able to spot. There we go, smokeless joint. Let's have it once a day. That way we're not going to have our colleagues being too stoned on this drug. The night begins to fall, and Jeff is now awake. Let us call upon a pack of wild animals to come join us. And with that, more blood for our vampire. I will have Jeff feed on the weaker animals first to make sure he's going to accidentally pick a fight with a creature too strong for him. And with this, Jeff is feeling a lot more refreshed and ready to do something else. Like finishing off his prison chamber. Appears. Got some dwarven goods heading our way. Let's see what we have to offer. Some dwarven goods may actually come in handy now that we have something to sell. And dwarves do like their components. Now then, we shall use one of Jeff's other abilities. Perfect form. Make it a bit more appealing to the dwarves. Hopefully, maybe he might get himself a better rate in the trades. Less of a trade. And with that, we can start making some money. Now, for this moment in time, we don't need components. So let's sell these off. Along with our tribal wear, because we can always make more with the chemical hair we do have. And with this, we can't really buy much else that we need. Apart from another coffin, but we can always make those. So until then, let us haul our loot away for the traders and get back to business. As the sun sets, the sun starts to rise, Jeff heads to his coffin to sleep the day away. Now that Rachel, on the other hand, can work in daylight. Let's give her a little Force Awakening, shall we? And with that, Rachel is now up and active, ready to contribute again. After a quick smoke, it looks like she's ready to go finish off making her meals and get back to work. Out of this, we now have a prison centre. We can now start capturing people from raids and convince them to join Jeff and his colony through any means necessary. Once we've got the downtime, it might be worth making some more tribal just so we've got more things to sell to people. And what better person to make use of this skill than Rachel? After all, she is an inspired crafter, so she will enjoy doing these sort of activities. When she's not hungry all the time, of course. And as the sun sets, Jeff rises from his coffin, ready to work. Now what we can do for Jeff is start making some more bricks, so we can expand his little hovel. To do that, we will use a stone cutter table and make some marble blocks. After all, being a vampire, he should only get the finest treatment, shouldn't he? It appears Jeff is running off again to get some more blood for his needs. What we can do now is to have a colonist. Instead of relying on animals to keep Jeff alive, we can start feeding off colonists. After all, we've got to have our uses now, don't they? And Rachel has plenty of blood to go around. Now then, during this opportunity it might be a good idea to get some limestone blocks up and running, so we can make some furniture. Why, what would be the comfiest? It's still better than eating off the ground. And hey, maybe we might get a little light into this cave of Jeff. Now then, as our campfire has run out of fuel, we can no longer cook on it, which would be bad for Rachel and her human needs. So let's set some trees to chop and get some more wood. And with that, we're now half food production again. Rachel doesn't seem to be too happy just wearing a t-shirt. Let's make her wear her new outfit. Alright, that. Rachel is no longer naked. Looks like the remaining days might be a bit too uneventful. But as we do now have our prison, we can start making more use of our raids as they come along to us. I might enter the jaws of Jeff. So far, our prisoner can hold 4 captured people before we reach our limit. We still grow in time. It appears Jeff has taken his fill of Rachel's blood. Luckily, it will come back to her eventually. That Jeff continues to organise his stock and starts cleaning around him. After all, a clean home is not a happy home. Even more so, with a nice clean prison, prisoners are more likely to be a nice clean jail, so prisoners are more likely to go join the colony. And with that, all of Jeff's tasks for the day is complete. Now then, we plan to expand to this next section down here, but to do that, we're going to need a bit more stone. And for that, we're going to start mining again. Let's cut the shape out of the mountain, shall we? After all, once we start cutting out the mountains, we can make more homes in these caves. It appears Rachel seems to be recovering for her little encounter with Jeff. Seeing how effective Smokeley was on the art motivating our colonists, it might be worth setting up a little area to grow more. Plus, certain factions will appreciate being able to buy Smokeley off us. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone who has the capacity to grow such a complex plant. And in that case, might be worth sticking to something a bit more manageable. Let's have some roses, just to brighten the place up a little bit. And also provide some good experience for our colonists. After all, the only way they're going to have to grow difficult plants is to just grow plants and to get used to it. And I believe after this day is when I'll end the story for now and put out on stream, but it'll still continue on off stream. And by then you'll get an update to see what happens between the story of Jeff and Rachel and whoever else may join the Jeff exploration team. But I think until then, I will sign off. So until then, goodbye.